From the great mountains of the Sierra Nevada to the Colorado Rockies Mountain, the Amtrak California Zephyr have a lot to give and offer. To all who hear this message, the Amtrak California Zephyr is the best train to get. My name is Raphael, and I love trains.
All aboard the California Zephyr!
We are at Sacramento Valley Station. The Sacramento Valley Station building was built in 1926. It is almost 96 years old. Sacramento Valley Station is the end of the Transcontinental Railroad. During the year 1862, Abraham Lincoln signed the Pacific Railroad Act to fund the construction of the Transcontinental Railroad. There are two companies to build the railroad, Union Pacific and Central Pacific. Union Pacific, as we know today, started out in Omaha, Nebraska, and was built tracks heading west, while the Central Pacific laid tracks from Sacramento and headed east. Both companies met at Promontory, Utah, which, on the other hand, became known as the Golden Spike Ceremony. Nowadays, Sacramento Valley Station serves the thousands of daily passengers by a variety of options. One option is the throughway bus connection, which can travel to Redding, Lake Tahoe, and Reno. Also, Sacramento is the western terminal for the Sacramento RT Gold Line light rail train. Long-distance Amtrak trains also come to Sacramento. Two of them are the California Zephyr and the Coastal Starlet. There's also Amtrak local trains, the Capital Corridor and the San Juan Queen.
Welcome aboard on the most scenic trip in North America, the California Zephyr. This train goes through 7 states and crosses over the Rocky Mountains. And we're going to be departing from Sacramento, California's Union Station to Grand Junction, Colorado. 146 in the lead! 146!
So here is the Roomette. This is the place where we're going to be staying in for the journey on the California Zephyr. So this room has enough room for 2 adults. We have already departed Sacramento Valley Station. The intermodal train that you see in the background is a Union Pacific intermodal train. The Union Pacific train has been parked on the line for about 15 minutes before our train has arrived. It is waiting for us to go first, for Amtrak has a higher priority than freight travel because it is the right of way. By the way, the Union Pacific train might be waiting for us because it might be going in one of the junctions in Sacramento. Sacramento has 2 junctions, one going towards Oregon and the other going towards Reno and Nevada, Utah, etc. Also a junction towards Stockton Yard or Bakersfield. We're going on the junction where it's headed towards Reno. I believe the freight train might be going towards Modesto or Bakersfield.
Right now, we have just departed Sacramento Union Station. We are now coming at our first stop, Roosevelt Station. We're approaching the Roosevelt Yard. This is the end of the Transcontinental Railroad. You hear this? The end of the Transcontinental Railroad. This is crazy. And right after that, we are going to be stopping at Roosevelt Station. Take a look at that later.
While we are eating lunch, our train has arrived at Colfax, California. This town has been restored in Sierra Nevada, and some of the buildings are still here. You can see that as a beautiful scenery, with a tree surrounding the town and the buildings. Speaking of sceneries, let's go take a review of the observation car. The observation car is located near the middle of the train and all other Amtrak trains. So the observation car is the scenic point where you and your family can just walk in and sit down.
So there are many seating spots. You could also put your workspace here. As you see, there's exactly where there are tables here. And the observation car is known for its big and bright windows. So these windows are super big. They're bigger than the ones that you would see. There's even some on the top. So this, the observation car is known for those. And you would see them mostly on every single Amtrak train that goes for long distance travels.
During our trip on the Sierra Nevada, I-80 came into our view, and now we were racing with it. We were racing across it like a mountaineer and heading towards Donner Lake. Donner Lake is a freshwater lake in northeast California on the eastern slope of the Sierra Nevada and about 20 miles northwest of Lake Tahoe. Donner Lake has many things to offer to the tourists of the Sierra Nevadas. Summer activities include camping, picnicking, boating, fishing, hiking, and mountain biking. Winter activities include cross-country skiing and snowboarding.
We just crossed halfway across the Sierra Nevada, and now we have arrived at our second station, Trucke. This place is in the middle of the Sierra Nevada, and now we are just about departing. If you could look here, if you could see, this place looks amazing. These buildings are so much in restore. They look so good. I wish I were to be back here. Oh, look, a UP train passing by. Okay, so we have just departed Trucke Union Station, and we are already seeing the beautiful scenery of the Trucke River. This river is amazing. This river is like clear water, man. The rocks and the currents, man. This thing's amazing. 5 minutes after we filmed that film, we are now following the river itself. Just look how gorgeous it is. You could tell because it's clear water and the rocks make it more intimidating for you to visit. Plus the trees surrounding it makes it even more beautiful. However, if you look up north of the camera that we're shooting right now, you could see a little bit of snow on the peak of the mountain. That indication is the Sierra Nevada, and we are now once again about to cross the other half of the Sierra Nevada. This is cool. Look just this. There's even a little bike trail up there. You should better go there. This trail, you're just gonna be following the scenery of this river and the mountain valley itself. This is amazing. Look, we got a raptor right on the river. Let's go. Say hello. Okay. Oh look, there's a lot more. Anyways, you should really go kayaking because look at all these people. They might have loved it. They love it. If you could hear me from this deafening noise, we have crossed the Sierra Nevada and Nevada border, and we are now stopped at Reno. This station, however, is 30 feet below ground. So, the conductor said that we have to stay at the station if we had to board the train again. Whew, made it just on time. The train was just about to leave and we made it right on time. Good thing we did because that train's gonna be into dust. Good thing. Whew. Our next station would be about 15 minutes later. I'll tell you what the name is later. Alright, so we're now out of Reno's city. So now our next station will be Winnemucca. So we're gonna be arriving not 15 minutes, but roughly about 3 hours. By then it's our dinner time. I'll tell you about that later. You may have noticed a drastic change in the landscape. Before, in the Sierra Nevadas, it was a wilderness full of forests, trees, you name it. But now, since we entered Nevada, it has turned into a complete desert.
Now this is a desert I'd like to see. No plants, no life, no signs of water, just a barren, flat world. As we are running through the desert like a race car trying to stop the heat, our train is arriving and approaching Winnemucca Station. Now, Winnemucca Station is a fertile desert oasis. However, if it's shocking to you, Winnemucca is the only city in a county.
We have just arrived at the station next stop after Reno. This is Winnemucca Station. Winnemucca. So this station is the first crew change of the California Zephyr trip. However, the station is fairly short. As you can see, there are some cars back there that can't reach onto the station. The conductor said that they're gonna do the crew change. After that, the train will move.
You're more than welcome to stay out here on the platform, or you're gonna pull forward like 3 cars.
As you just heard, the conductor just said that they'll pull the train after the crew change about 2 cars. So, visitors can get a nice stretch on the station before leaving. Also, when the stretch break is done, the conductor will make the all aboard announcement, and people will be going back into their coaches and cars. The conductor just brought us our lunch before the stop at Winnemucca, and we are just departing it. So we're gonna try our dinner. So I got the wine brain beef. Dad brought the chicken ricotta, something like that. Also, my drinks is orange juice. Same for Dad. We both got 2 salads, and butter. We even got bread right here. Okay, we're gonna see what this beef boy is gonna look like. Oh boy, let's see. So this is what Dad's chicken ricotta, something like that, looks like. You can see there's pasta, there's tomatoes, there's broccoli, and meat. Mine is the beef boy. What the on earth is this monstrosity? This is cool. Look at this. There's the beef, and there's the vegetables, there's the rice. Now we're gonna dine in. So your shower for your roomette would be a small little dome. So this is where you will stand and take the shower. So this is where you will cool. You want it to be warm or cold. Now I recommend using warm as always. So we're gonna do it. This is the soap that you needed. So we're gonna put that baby right there. And then change our clothes. Please don't.
I woke up around 5:30 a.m. to the place called Bryce Canyon. Now, Bryce Canyon is in the territory of Utah, which is the place where my cousin Paul and Rosie live. But my train went past their home last night, so we did not have the chance to say hello. An hour later, our train has arrived at Helper, Utah. The arrival of the Denver and Rio Grande Western Railroad makes Helper a freight terminal after the rail lines were changed from narrow to standard gauge. The changeover began in 1889 and was completed in 1891. Helper was designated to be the division point between the eastern and western terminals in Grand Junction, Colorado, and Ogden, Utah. Now, we are having breakfast at the time that we are arriving at Helper, Utah. you'll see the conductor making announcements for the breakfast.
Alright, good morning, sleeping-car passengers. This is Mike Joe from the dining car making the second call for your continental breakfast service here in the diner.
The Ruby Canyon is a roughly 25-mile-long canyon on the Colorado River, located on the Colorado and Utah border in the western United States, and it is a popular destination for rafting. The canyon takes its name from the red sandstone cliffs which line the canyon walls. The only access to the canyon outside of rafting is provided by Union Pacific Railroad line, formerly the Denver and Rio Grande Western Railroad, and Grand Junction, Colorado. As we are approaching Grand Junction Station, we got the glimpse of the Colorado National Monument. This is the million-dollar view of the people of Grand Junction.
You can hear me right now. We have arrived at Grand Junction. On time, too.
In this journey, I took the California Zephyr from Sacramento, California to the town of Grand Junction, Colorado. I spent 1 day and a half in the most scenic train of the United States. I have seen through my eye the hospitality of the people that rode with us. The people who had never met before became neighboring friends during the trip. The kitchen master who cared about our hunger by coming down and taking our meal choices. The train conductor who shared with us about the famous landmarks along the journey. From the capital of Sacramento to the town of Grand Junction, the California Zephyr takes the sceneries, terrain, and destinations to a whole new level. This is the most scenic train in America. Thank you for listening.